All of them took a potion that inhibited their ability to hear, and for the first time remembered what was happening to them when they were not looking. As a small battle raged, destroying portions of Matthias's office, they all realized the level of strength you're going against here. You teleported away, returning to your home, wounded both mentally and physically. None of you can really speak to each other except in sort of a cantrippy message way. Tunuk, you feel a small weight as you lay on the ground, your arms spread out, a weight settle on your chest as a small rectangular crystal appears there.
What the?
You pick it up and you look at it, and on one side, it looks like a card back. You flip it over, and on the front, there is the image of a caricature of a knight.
Oh, oh yeah. If I think about that night, is there anything that I can feel, sense?
You sense that it has about half its hit points, and it is injured, but it returned to you upon you leaving.
Cool.
Mhm.
Cool, 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 cool.
What Rowan is gonna do immediately is he's gonna get up and start, like, frantically looking around the house, like, running around the house to see if he sees anything like he
Ink
saw in
is
Matthias's office.
Ink is gonna touch him on the shoulder and make a shh motion through his mouth, and then draw his sword, and then start quietly going through the house.
Taking Ink's cue to be a little bit quieter,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna bring out the flame of Mistra, but not ignite it,
Okay.
and kinda go through, open up the doors, check the rooms, check the egg specifically, make sure the egg is okay.
You do get to certain points in the house, and you realize that there's a giant fucking hole in some areas.
Could Davner try to reverse engineer that potion that we just took using whatever like couple drops are left in each of them?
Uh,
Damn.
you run down to your alchemy setup and you start trying to collect this together. You were definitely able to pull some together. You think you can reverse engineer this using most of what you have sitting, like using ingredients that you have sitting downstairs. Uh, but it's gonna take some time.
Stairs and write onto a notebook or a notepad. Be like, I think I figured out how to make this possibly, but I
Mhm.
need time.
Message Davner. I don't need lots of sleep. I can help while Akron knocks out.
Rowan
Okay.
is going to turn to Butler. Anything to makeshift some thick earmuffs for us to use.
Butler sort of stares at you for a second because you're screaming at him. He's got a confused look on his face, and he hears like you say earmuffs at the top of your voice because you can't control it. A set of earmuffs from the lower coat rack system just sort of levitates up, and he holds us up with a questioning look.
Thank you.
We write on a notepad. Be like, I think this might not be enough. I'll point to the
Uh,
earmuffs.
All of you are starting to put pieces together that somehow, some way, whatever was happening, your minds were literally adapting to just make it okay. You had no way of putting together the pieces because your mind would ignore anything that wasn't normal. You both feel like subsonic low wave vibration happening continuously, permeating everything around you. Amara, you notice for the first time that the potions inside of the lab are vibrating continuously with a small sort of low wave pulse that seems to go. Oh, You sit down and you start casting the spell. You set the vial of shavings down in front of you and you start casting, and you feel this power raise inside of yourself, and you speak into the universe, asking your question: what created these shavings? What made this? Common wisdom holds that false hydras come from the ground. They spontaneously originate from undifferentiated masses of flesh. Supposedly, they germinate in response to lies. That each falsehood causes a false hydra to swell larger. There are ghost towns in the grey wastes, victims of the false hydra. People do not revisit those sites. Or do they? And they just never return.
Butler!
Like Butler appears up in front of you, sort of like looking directly at you.
The chalkboard upstairs, I need you to write, or have it write, because it's a mimic, false hydra. Really big, not covering any of the other information. Don't bother speaking to me, friend, I can't hear you. Pew pew pew. Information.
What did you find out from the legend lore?
Germinates in response to lies.
Did you get any information about how to eliminate such a threat?
No. My question is, what do you think could be the biggest lie of the city?
I think the founding of this city is a lie in itself. I must go to the library still, I think, but I will keep that in mind that the information I find may be half-truths or fictitious.
Make sure you get rest. I'm gonna finish helping Davna.
I was just going to walk up to Amara and poke her on the shoulder and hold out the bracers. And then I'm going to point and do the...
Okay.
It could have a spell of enrapture, and then I will be enslaved to be her love thrall. I have no idea.
Could be cursed. Could be
It could
cursed.
be a hell of a time.
Could be cursed.
Could be.
But
She could also be a succubus.
maybe you
never
want
know.
to be cursed.
Poor lawful good Tunak.
I'm not here to kink shame.
by just slapping on random bracers I find.
Smarter than others. Just willy-nilly put on whatever.
Can't judge this book by its cover.
All right.
You look up and you see
Oh, you've got to
all
be shitting me.
across the city, extended into the air, instances of the creature that you saw high in the sky, swaying, singing, talking. People are suddenly being thrown into the air by one of these heads and consumed in the air. Creatures are lifting their heads up and tearing people in half as this thing just eats and eats. About a half a dozen groupings of these heads that you can see. They are everywhere. Davner, make an alchemy check with intelligence. Amara, I want you to commit magic to this activation or to this thing. And you two are both just creating and working with this. Like there's it would be the stereotypical lightning flashing mad scientist working magical creation that's happening here, except it's all completely silent, as if it's a black and white silent film as you two are working together.
You know, Rowan's just basically gonna sit there and just look at the current earmuffs and see what he can do
Okay.
to make it better.
You start fiddling with these earmuffs, and like you've got all 6 sets that have been pulled in by Butler, and you're sort of rummaging around in them and attempting to make something better. You're sitting there working, and a little mimic cat comes up to you and jumps in your lap as it sort of bats in that sort of cattish way at what you're working on and smacks against it.
Hey, best.
It seems for a second to like, well, first off, it reacts to you shouting at it. It seemed to like react for a second and then like looks at the thing that you're working on and looks back at you, and for a moment it jumps up, lands on the lands sort of lightly onto the headphones that are in your hand, or the earmuffs in your hand, and it just melts creating cups that seem to go around the earmuffs itself.
He's gonna kind of freak out because it's Best.
Mhm.
But then realize it's a mimic.
Mhm.
Another Best can show up. And then he's going to kind of put him over his ears. I mean, I know he can't hear anything right now, but he's gonna probably try to feel like the compression, tightness to his ears, and he's gonna be like, "Good job, Best." And then he's gonna take him off and kind of, I don't know, work with Best and continue to do them with the other earmuffs.
You like start setting them up, and other versions of Best jump up and form, and then jump onto the earmuffs and begin to form around the earmuffs, making these ear cups.
And when the last Best goes into the earmuffs, since he saw different varieties of Best, let's make sure you stayed the best for Amara.
Earmuffs that you first messed with go from being like a blackish cup that goes over to being a white cup. Flashing back to the library and the Citadel. The city is under siege, except no one seems to know, except for you. There's the librarian as she turns and she looks at you and she starts speaking at you. Okay.
As to be quiet, I'm going to say, pardon the mental intrusion, but we're deaf and can't speak very quietly right now. We are in need of a bestiary.
What kind of bestiary?
One that may contain any writings on a false Hydra.
She hands you like 7 books on like various beasts and bestiaries. 8 different manuals here that show various beasts. You start reading through the first one. It is so dense and so thick that an hour passes.
Oh no. I would have cut
Okay.
him off. Kunak would have been like, "Well, sorry, we're fucking going." Before an hour passed, there's no way.
Okay. I'm going to get up, go over to the librarian. This is taking me a very long time, and this is a very, very urgent matter. I must take these books with me.
You see the librarian holding up a list to you. And she is like offering it out to you. As she is offering it out to you, behind her in the hole, a face is rising out of the hole itself. And as it gets to a point you lock eyes with it, and it knows that you can see it. Both of you see this thing shoot forward towards Akron and the librarian. And you reach up, you grab Akron's shoulders, you yank him back out of the library as teeth wrap around the librarian, missing Akron by a hair, grabbing her, and you see as her face contorts, and she's just drug away. But its eyes lock on the 3 of you.
Okay, we gotta run. Just get
I'm gonna whip out
back.
Mm-hmm.
the night card
Okay.
and summon him.
All right. You take out the knight and you throw it down, and instantly it expands out and forms into a knight, a metallic being that's standing there, its blade up and its shield ready.
I'm gonna cast I'm just gonna cast teleport. All right, gentlemen, into the portal. We gotta get out of here.
I'm already going in.
Yep, Ink is stepping through.
You turn, you're
I'm
like,
oh,
all right, guy,
oh.
and everyone's run past you already.
I'm gonna be like, okay. I'm gonna then step through. Upon getting back to the house, I'm gonna message Amara. Hey, do you have a dispel? I need to close a portal.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind, please, in the teleport room.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And you see as like this portal is there. And it's notable that as all of you are looking back and you're like waiting for Amara to come up, Amara, you come up and you see as a horrific face is moving in front of the portal, watching this happen. You come up, you see this, and you go, boom! You smash your power into it. You hit it with enough of a magical force that this seemingly lower level spell is able to shatter the teleport circle and destroy it. And you're like, it was right there. This thing, this false Hydra, knows that there are people in the city who can see it and remember it.
Anyway, at any rate, I have a bunch of books here. Time for me to get reading on what this thing might be. Also, the librarian is now dead.
Oh, study in front of the whiteboard in case your potion wears off and you forget shit. I wrote false Hydra really big. I need to finish these potions with Davna. You need to
Okey-dokey.
rest though.
Rowan would have wrote on the whiteboard to grab a set of earmuffs and to wear them when we go to sleep, so we can save the potion.
So
And he would ask Bess to personally deliver an earmuff to Amara.
the four of you are walking out of the teleport circle room into the main area where this board is set up, and Rowan is like standing there writing on the board, almost as if your heads are struck with sound as you go from seeing Rowan just writing to hearing as the sound returns to all of you around you. You're writing on the board. You can hear now as the spell ends.
Oh, there it is.
All of you stop and you start thinking back to everything that you've experienced. And all of you remember everything because it was not overwritten in the moment. Because the hearing was
Oh.
blocked. Because the silence permeated. It did not have the ability to erase those memories. So you remember everything since the moment you took the silence spell, that POS potion.
Rowan's still gonna finish writing on the board. He's
You
gonna
do.
little emphasis on the period and throw down the chalk and say, the earmuffs are gonna come in handy.
What'd you
And
do
then-
to make these? And he's gonna like look at his pair.
Best help me. And then he's gonna put his on.
Now you put these on and you slip them on, and there's a faint rumbling sound that emanates from these like things that are pressed directly against your ears.
Is it purring?
It is purring.
Are we noise canceling with purring?
Yes.
Yes.
Rowan's gonna tap the earmuffs. Then he's gonna say, Best, can you communicate for us to each other through these? Basically
my.
having our own communication system through
Oh my
these, even
God,
though we
we-
can't hear.
We already had that though. We have the wrists.
Well, yeah, but this would be
Oh,
like
right,
a
yeah.
walkie-talkie for us
Yeah,
because we
we-
can't. So we
we have
don't
a
yell
context.
as we're yelling
I was
anymore. We
gonna
can
say,
hear
we
each
got
other's
contacts on.
contacts.
You say that and you hear
Thanks,
Yes.
Best.
Ye olden contacts.
and you just hear purring through it.
Per tax.
Please make sure Amara gets hers.
Hmm.
She'll probably.
You, Amara,
die.
you see as a little a version of Best walks up to you with a set of headphones that have white cups on them.
Oh, hello, friend.
Like is carrying it in its mouth.
Mm.
And it's a little bit larger, so it can carry these in it. And just like comes up to you and like sits down, holds them up to you.
Puts them on. Oh, that what? Oh my god.
And Amara has white versions of these.
Best.
You have earmuffs of noise cancellation.
Natural
A sh-
20.
Natural 20. Okay. You look up and you see as this like purring sound pulses in your ears, you see across the city as these large, horrific faced heads are moving back and forth. And now they seem to like drop down and explode out another section of the city, and they begin to like move down and around through the city itself. They are looking for you. These heads and necks and things are looking for you all.
Start going through the books Akron came back with and look for false Hydra material in there.
All that I do.
I will note that this is what you wanted.
We
Kills,
did
kills,
willingly
kills.
jump into this hole. So.
We did. We definitely did.
As you are all falling, you're passing through this hole, and you see as like the sides of it seemingly were at some points dug out, but also melted out, and you hit the ground.
Amara is gonna go to the front, and she's gonna grab ink because we can see the furthest, and we'll take it together.
Rowan's gonna kind of try to jaunt up to Tunic.
I'm gonna pull out the slate and I'm gonna give it to Rowan because I can't do anything with it right now.
Well, with like a kid learning how to play a Switch, like a handheld Switch.
I can tell you how to do it. You got a question?
Yeah, Rowan's just gonna be like, kind of being Tunic's hands when trying to work with the thing.
So
Sure.
you have your map of the area, and very specifically, you have a map of the lower sections of something that's here.
We should be approaching a fork in the road kind of a thing while looking at the map with Tunic.
You're the man
Wait,
in the
you
van.
can't see in the.
Well, the only way we get anywhere is by walking.
Yeah.
So
Try to
let's
be
get going.
Well,
careful.
You could also fly.
Once we hit anything that looks not dug, let me take a look, because that's when we're going to start running into traps, I think.
Oh, that was scary.
Amara, you look up and you feel as like a vibration on your earmuffs kicks in hard. Looking up in a way, you see as let's just say smaller head pops into and out of one section of the wall, and you begin to like look directly at it. Davner, your eyes glance over this thing, and you for a second react, and then your eyes just sort of fall away and you don't see it anymore.
As soon as she heard it, she put her hand over her like ear cuff. Said, "Okay, I see one. Nobody don't look
Where
up.
at?
Shut up." But does it see me in return, or is it just looking?
With those stealth checks, it does not see you yet.
Let's see what it does.
Like moves through and up in one portion of the ceiling and seems to just melt through up into the top portion of the cave. And as it's moving, it seems to tighten a little bit along its edge, and it begins to melt into the wall itself, leaving a sort of viscous material behind as it goes.
Okay, we can continue.
Could have had a D8.
You move up to this entry point, and you notice that there were 2 traps set here, large ones, intended on stopping something coming through. They're already triggered. You can't turn them off. You enter this building, and it's getting to a point where no matter what, even with your passive perceptions, all of you feel vibration in the air, in the full area, as the mimic can no longer hold itself together under the force and bind and force out this sound resonating through. You feel something begin to grip upon your mind, and before anything can really happen, you chug down your potions to get through. And across your skin, you feel the vibration still, you just hear nothing.
God, can Rowan, while looking at this map with Tunic, is there like a pinpoint to where the heart, quote unquote, would be? where they seem to congest more.
In this section here that is displayed on the map that can like push up or down to see where these stairs might go.
You start noting that once you walk inside, there are souls here as well. Large portions of them, even larger portions of them, have been consumed and melted away. But there is, in fact, one soul that seems fairly coherent and closest to the doorway. As you look at it, you see a tentacly face with glowing eyes.
Davenor's just gonna like lift his hands up and kind of wave to it, kind of looking at it and see if he responds in any sort of way.
Its head turns to you.
The
I don't
mind
think it's
flare.
a good thing.
You feel pressure on your mind. The soul presses on your mind with its barely make it.
Ooh.
As the pulse of energy that comes off of this soul attempts to ensnare your mind to it. You will become one with the mind.
Yep.
And we're gonna leave it
Can
off there for the weekend.
Yeah, we can't complete this dungeon. We got to come back here so you can farm souls. This is game breaking. No.
There
Yeah.
you go.